My wife, 36-year-old female, is threatening to leave me, 35-year-old male, if I don't work more to increase our take home pay. I am an airline pilot and a first officer. I make around $150 to $165,000 a year working about 15 days a month, plus around 15,000 K a year in VA disability. My wife and I got married immediately after high school because we had our daughter in school. I joined the Marine Corps and spent 7 years in the Corps, deploying 5 times to Afghanistan and Iraq, missing countless family moments, and even missing the birth of our second son. Missing all the moments and ultimately drove me to leave the military and spend more time with my family. I used the GI Bill to pay my way through flight school and eventually landed a good job at a major airline. Now, after some airline hopping, since we have been together, my wife has never worked. I don't blame her. She has held our family together while I was gone, and I'm truly thankful. I'm just trying to illustrate money was very tight for us as a family of four while I was in the military. We got very good at living cheaply. However, now that I'm established at a major airline, we are making very good money. But my wife has, from what I can tell, lost her mind. She is constantly buying things without talking to me. Clothes, shoes, vacations for her and the kids, and new furniture. About 2 years ago, things came to a head when I found a credit card she had opened in her name that was maxed out in the area of $30,000. We sat down as a family and had a coming to Jesus moment. She promised to cut back on her spending and promised to pay off the credit card debt she had let go into collections. I thought we had things figured out until last Friday. I got a call from a debt collector saying I owed American Express $25,000. This was a shock to me. I don't use credit cards. I disputed the charges and told them to email an itemized breakdown to me. After seeing the purchases, it was clear my wife was behind the purchases. I confronted her and she confessed to opening 3 credit cards in my name, but the minimum payments had gotten too large for her to manage without me noticing, so she stopped paying them. In total, she ran up 55,000 in credit card debt in my name. This led to a huge fight between us, where I gave her the ultimatum that she needed to seek counseling for a spending addiction, or I was going to cut her off from our money and start giving her a frickin' allowance. My wife snapped and accused me of financial abuse. She claims all her friends spend more money than her, and their husbands don't have a problem with it. She says if I worked more, she wouldn't have to budget, and I am being neglectful and controlling. She took the kids and told me if I didn't figure out our money issues or controlling habits, she was considering divorce. I'm at a loss here. I'm working less because I want to be present for our 2 kids. I feel incredible guilt for all the things I missed while I was in the military, but I know I'll miss even more if I don't find a way to keep my wife happy. What can I do? What can I do to help her understand my perspective? She stonewalls me when I try to explain. So, this is a tough one, man. It's a really, really tough one. The first thing I want to say is, I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry. Because this is a tough one. You are between a rock and a hard place, and whichever decision you're going to make, it's going to be tough for you. Especially when a good guy gets in a situation like this, it's really sad. I've seen many good guys get married and end up in situations like this. It's tough, man. It's tough. The second thing I want to say is that I'm not married, and because of that, maybe I don't feel qualified enough to give you the best advice. But fortunately, there are people in the comments who are married and will be able to chirp in. So, guys, please comment down below after watching this on what our friend here should do. But I'm gonna try and answer him as best as I can. So, man, the first thing I want to say is it seems to me that in the beginning, firstly, I'm gonna say this, right? You guys got married straight out of high school, right? It's something I wouldn't recommend people getting married straight out of high school. Now, I know people that met the love of their life in high school and they're still together and they have kids, and on social media they seem as happy as can be. Um, I actually know a few couples who did meet in high school or university and are still together and living a pretty happy life. So it can be done. It can be done. But I want to say also that for some people, maybe they need more time to grow and mature into the person that they will be. And I'm going to say this also. It's better to mature on your own and become the person you are meant to be on your own before you get married, rather than try and figure that out with somebody else, because it's difficult to be successful on your own. Now, adding the fact that you have another person to take care of, another person to deal with, it becomes almost impossible to achieve the level of success that you need to achieve. Now, you got married, had your child, and you got deployed. But I think you getting deployed and working in different places gives you a sense of guilt. You're guilty that you weren't there for your wife. You're guilty that you weren't there for your family. And now you're trying to overcompensate. You're trying to make up for the lost time. But I'm going to tell you that you can never make up for the time you lost. It's gone. That time is gone, man. That time is gone, gone, gone. But the only thing you can do is be the man that your wife needs you to be. I'll come back to that in a second. So, in the beginning, you and your wife were living a cheaper lifestyle. Everything was more relaxed. You guys were coping well, and you were basically living a modest lifestyle. But as your income increases, so does your expenses. When I wasn't earning much, um, I used to watch every purchase I made. But as I started, my salary started to increase. Maybe I didn't watch every single thing I bought. And if your salary increases to a very, very high level, maybe it's possible for your wife especially, to get tempted to spend money on things. I think the fact that she had to start having a child very early in life and she had to live a more modest lifestyle more early in life, and now she's got this income, this increase in income, and she started to go crazy. But not only does she have an increase in income, she had a husband who did not check her when she made these purchases. Remember, this marriage is not just her, it's you also, man. And because of that, whatever purchases she makes, whatever things she wants to buy, she should be running it by you, right? Now, judging from the way you spoke, I don't think you're a bad guy. I think that if she asked you for something, you would have easily said yes, um, because you do genuinely want to make your wife happy. Which guy doesn't want to make his partner happy? Especially a guy like you who I can see genuinely does care for his wife. So you were trying to make her happy, and you would have made her happy, you know? But when she started spending, you didn't check her. Now, I know she didn't tell you about this. I know she didn't tell you about this. You found out about this. But here's what I think also. I think that this, her spending and racking up credit card debt, didn't come out from nowhere. It slowly accumulated over time where she realized, hey, you know what? This guy wouldn't notice if I did this. So let me just do this. So you were so guilty about being deployed and missing your family and missing key moments that you kind of lost your status of head of the household. Your wife became a de facto head of the household. I don't mean to say this in a wrong way, but I don't mean to say a mean thing to you, man, but you let a lot of things slide to the point where you appear weak in your wife's eyes. And then you discover the credit card debt, right? You discover the credit card debt, and it's a lot. Damn, it's a lot. It's a lot. 55,000 in credit card debt. That's over. No, that's crazy, man. That's like 600. No, not even 600. 800,000 rand? 800, close to 800,000 rand, maybe around that amount. I'm not exactly sure on the exchange rates, but 800,000 rand in debt. Wow. Wow. What was she buying, man? What was she buying? My goodness. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. How could she how could she get to this far? You have every right to be concerned about this. Like the fact that she's telling you, oh, you're being financially abusive and financially controlling, when she racked up 900,000 in debt. Who is being financially abusive? You or your wife who racked up close to 1 million rand in debt? Who? I don't think it's you. She is spinning this nonsense that, oh, you're controlling. You're not controlling, man. You're not financially abusive. She is, because she's using your money. She's using the money you work hard to earn, and she's squandering it on things. And now she's threatening to walk away. You know why she's doing that? You know why? You know why she's doing that? Because she knows that if she puts this ultimatum up, that you are going to start looking for another job and try to provide her the lifestyle that she wants. Now, Look, man, um, you've got a balancing act to do, right? Obviously, you want to make your wife happy. Obviously, you want to increase your standard of living. Who doesn't? Um, you've got to think. You've got to think for a minute whether you think that your standard of living is good enough. Now, unless you're like super rich, I don't think there's anybody in the world that wouldn't want to increase their standard of living. And so it's good to work extra, but not at the expense of your kids. So I understand where you're coming from and I understand what you're doing. So kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. Now, as for your wife, she's making a lot of threats, and it's a way to manipulate you into A, letting the whole credit card debt fiasco go, and B, trying to get you to have another job. You, as the man of the house, get to decide what is right for your family. Okay, so, gosh, I almost don't want to say this, but the world has emasculated men. True men are men that take control. True men are men that um, who fight for what they believe in, who stand up for what's good. But here's the thing: there's a difference between being good, and there's a difference between being nice. Being nice is bending over backwards and almost breaking your back when you know that you are being treated unfairly, and you know that there are better ways of doing things. There are better ways of doing things. Being good means that you will do whatever it takes to protect your family. You are willing to do whatever it takes to move your family forward. You are willing to do whatever it takes to increase your family's abilities. Increase your family's abilities. Increase your family's um, not just their standard of living, but their way of life. Look, your kids grow up. Your kids grow up. They they may remember the things you bought for them, the vacations they went on, all of those things. But it means nothing if your kids cannot cope in the real world on their own. It means nothing. If you spoil your kids too much, do certain things for them, then it means nothing. But the lessons, you see, the thing is, material possessions can be taken away from at any time. At any time. At any time you could lose your job and land back home. At any time your family could have nothing. Heck, you could be working two jobs and hopefully nothing happens, but you could be working two jobs and end up in an accident. Right? Hopefully not, you know. But it could happen. This is life. This is real life, man. And if that happens, and your kids have good life skills and good life lessons that you help them get, they'll say to themselves, "Don't worry, Dad, we'll take care of everything." The same with your wife. The same with your wife. You've been enabling your wife to get away with things for so long. But my opinion is, don't fall for that manipulative behavior. Stand up to her. Show her that you are the man of the house. You threaten consequences on her to cut her off for spending and give her an allowance. Do it. Do it. See what your wife will do. Do it, because she's trying to play you now and do this. Now, maybe the other women around her have better lifestyles. So what? So what? You get to decide how you want to run your household. That's your household. That's it. That's your household. A good man is someone who protects, provides, takes care, but also a good man is someone who corrects, gives guidance, and disciplines. If you cannot, if you cannot stand up for stand up for yourself, how will your wife have faith in you to protect and provide for the family? How will your children have faith in you to follow you and say, hey, my dad taught me that wasn't right? That's my advice. That's my advice. In the least toxic way that I can try and muster up, in the least manosphere way I can try and say it, in the most compassionate way I can try and say it, man. Sometimes the best possible thing to do is to put your foot down. Is to put your foot down and say no. You want to throw a tantrum? Throw your tantrum. You want to leave? Okay. I'm cutting you off. I'm giving you an allowance. Oh no, I'm going to divorce you. Okay. All right, sure. Sure. Do it. See if you can find someone who treats you better. Go. Now, don't obviously don't tell her straight to her face, but you know, your attitude should be like, I'm willing to protect you. I'm willing to provide for you. I'm willing to do the best I can for this family. But if you're not willing to listen to me, you want to walk away, then this is it, you know. And she'll think to herself, hey, you know what, my husband's actually standing up for himself. I can't play around with this guy anymore. And in the long run, she'll be happy that her husband is strong and able to actually stand up for what he believes in. I know that you're sad about missing out on everything that your family went through, but that wasn't the past. It already happened. You can't change it, man. You can't make up for the past. The past is the past. No matter how much mistakes we made in the past, we can't change it. It's not going to happen. We can't build a time machine and go back in the past. And we can't correct the issues of the past today. The only thing we can do is correct, change for tomorrow. Change today for tomorrow. You do the best you can as a father and as a husband today. If you want to get an extra job or take up some extra hours, go for it. Go for it. But it's only after you've decided what's best for your family. Yeah, so guys, that's my relationship advice for this week. A little bit of heavy one. And like I said, I'm not married, man. I'm not married. So this is the best advice I could give. If you disagree with me, comment down below. If you agree with me, comment down below. So guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.